Caitlin Clark beats Angel Reese. Iowa beats LSU. Iowa is on to the women's Final Four. And what is so fascinating is the vitriol in division that is surrounding Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark right now. And I don't know that we have ever seen this in women's sports. And I also think this is an indication that women's sports and women's college basketball is growing leaps and bounds. Last night, center stage, who wasn't watching Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark go head to head? And the tough part is that Angel Reese got 100% outclassed by Caitlin Clark. And if this was not the revenge game of all revenge games, after all of the shenanigans that Angel Reese put forward last year with the waving in front of the face and the ring pointing and just all of the ridiculousness that Angel Reese displayed last year when LSU beat Iowa and ultimately went on to win a championship. Angel Reese now claims victimhood. And Jake, I am just not here for it.
I don't understand why this was the stance last night out of Angel Reese. I don't understand why you couldn't just simply say, hey, like, we played a good game, but we got beat by a better player. I think that's the proper answer. Your head coach said that, but you seemingly went on this rant about how you're a victim and you're getting, death threats and all this horrible stuff is happening to you. And it's like, dude, like at some point, if you're going to run your mouth to the level that she ran her mouth, you have to have some sense of class when you lose and say, yeah, you know what? Caitlin was the better player tonight. I congratulate them. I give them all the credit in the world. And, obviously I'll be looking towards the draft. I mean, that's what should have been said. But instead we go on this long-winded rant about, making sure the little girls look up to me and making sure my teammates don't see me down and standing strong. And, I got death threats and I've been sexualized and all this stuff. And I'm just like, dude, you weren't talking about any of that when you were winning. You weren't talking about any of that when you were pointing to your finger and talking all that junk. And now that you lost, you're wanting to play the victim card. And that's my problem with Angel Reese. I'm not saying she's a bad player. I'm not saying she sucks. She's very clearly, one of their best players, very clearly super talented, very clearly going to be in the league. Like, great. All that is pretty much self-explanatory. But I'm not here for people who talk junk and then don't want to take it back. I just can't do it.
I was a little taken aback by Angel Reese in the postgame last night. Isn't it the easy button when you do what Angel Reese did last year? And when you treat Caitlin Clark the way you treated her with such an unbelievable level of disrespect, then your ego clearly got the best of you, because let's not forget, Angel Reese had off-court issues that prevented her from playing. Kim Mulkey kept her off the team early in the season. It was controversial. It was much talked about. And then when you get completely outshined by Caitlin Clark, you can't sit at the post-game press conference and play the victim card.
I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. And I just try to stand strong for my teammates, because I don't want them to see me down and not be there for them. So I just want to always just know, I'm still a human. All this has happened since I won the national championship, and I said the other day, I haven't had peace since then. And it sucks, but I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything, and I would still sit here and say, I'm unapologetically me. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am and stand on that. And hopefully the little girls that look up to me, and hopefully I give them some type of inspiration that, hopefully it's not this hard and all the things that come at you, but keep being who you are. Keep waking up every day. Keep being motivated, staying who you are, staying 10 toes, don't back down, and just be confident.
Get a fucking job. What are we talking about? This is what I cannot stand. I just haven't been happy since then. Okay, give all the NIL money back. Give the ring back. Nobody did this to you, Angel Reese. No, you did this to yourself. Your actions and your words, the ego, right? The taunting of Caitlin Clark. She beat your ass soundly last night to a historic level, Caitlin Clark last night. And the best part about all of this, and Angel Reese sitting up on the dais saying that she's had death threats and I'm not happy and I just get up every day and I try to move on and be a role model for the little girls.
I just try to stand strong.
You did this to yourself. And you know what the worst part of this is? We're not talking about the solid performance that Angel Reese had last night. What was it, 17 and 20? Because of what you did, Angel Reese. You are accountable for your actions. And now you want to talk about being a victim. And now you want to talk about death threats. And now you want to talk about how you just, it's tough to go on. Well, don't act like a jackass.
Yeah.
Don't. And the other part of this that you have to remember is you wanted equality. And we always talk about how women are treated differently, and they are, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. You wanted equality. Welcome to equality. Shut up and dribble. Remember that whole thing? Well, Angel Reese, maybe you should shut up and just play basketball. Maybe don't point to your ring finger. Maybe don't do the nobody sees you. Maybe don't, I don't know, maybe don't be a poor winner. Maybe have class and dignity. But instead, you chose violence. You wanted equality? Welcome to equality. To the victor goes the spoils. Last year, when you were winning and you were chasing Caitlin Clark around the court, what happened to your unhappiness then?
Yeah.
Where were the death threats then? Oh, I don't believe that she got death threats.
No.
I think that is, I am not, it is possible. We live in a world of Neanderthals and hyenas, and certainly that is possible. But you cannot tell me that you're just miserably unhappy and you're a victim and, oh my God, how am I going to get out of bed today? I don't buy that shit for a second. I think this is an act. I think this is a spotlight grab. I think this is anything to not have to say Caitlin Clark is the best basketball player any of us have seen in the women's game.
Agreed completely. And I think that, folks who like to talk junk don't like to give credit to the one they were talking junk to. And I think that's the part that bothers me, man. In all the people, like, you look at all the hate that guys like Deion Sanders get and, Colorado gets for the way they go about their business. And it's like, hey, man, when they lose, they tell you, hey, like, yeah, they were the better team tonight. And we did this and that. And that's why I respect what they're doing there, right? Like, I just can't do, hey, I'm going to, and make a great point, I'm going to chase someone around the floor to talk junk to them. And then when I lose the next year, my final year, I'm going to play victim and I'm going to cry and I'm going to, it's just like,
and I'm going to be unapologetically me.
It's so tired. If this is unapologetically you, I don't want you on my team, bro. We can find someone to go out and get 17 and 20.
And what this really is our current culture with NIL and the transfer portal. And
yeah,
Angel Reese is getting paid. Angel Reese is a star, and she had no idea how to handle that. Angel Reese had no idea how to handle the national stage. Angel Reese had no idea how to win gracefully. Angel Reese clearly has no idea how to lose gracefully. This is immaturity, and she needs to grow up, and she needs to understand that it's okay not to be the absolute best at what you do. And she wants to be unapologetically herself. Be yourself. You're a really good basketball player. You are a really valuable brand. So why are you stooping to this level? And the question I guess you have to ask yourself is, does this change into adulthood? Because I think we all forget these are young 20-somethings.
Yeah.
These are 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids who've never been held accountable for anything, who've never been second best at anything. And this is, in my opinion, this is a great illustration of what happens when you hand a kid millions of dollars and you don't say, hey, by the way, here's how you handle fame.
Mm-hmm.
Here's all the money. Here's how you handle fame. That is what this is. You don't sit up at a press conference and have everybody talk about what a victim you are and talk about what a leader you are and what a teammate you are. And we're here to support you, Angel Reese, because you lost a basketball game. Is that really that's what we're talking about? You need the entire world to support you because you lost a basketball game? Was the entire world supporting you when you were traipsing around the court, taunting Caitlin Clark last year? No, you know what the biggest problem was? Nobody said no. Nobody said that's not how we act when we win. Nobody said, hey, be better than that.
Yeah.
When you talked all that shit last year after you won, nobody said, hey, we should probably remember that the highest of highs are almost always accompanied by the lowest of lows. And if your lowest of low in this world is losing in the Elite Eight to Caitlin Clark, that's not so low.
No, it's not.
But you don't know how to handle it. And I don't know Angel Reese. And you know what my guess is? Angel Reese is learning some hard lessons right now. Because I don't think that she's a very humble human being. I don't think that she has probably ever suffered athletic loss in her entire life. And at some point, we need to learn how to lose.
It's always a bigger fish.
Right?
There's always a bigger fish. There's always someone who is a little bit better than you. And that applies to all of us. And I think that, it just bugs me to no end. Like Kim Mulkey runs this program in a way where it's all good to do all that when you're winning. But then when you're losing, Kim knows how to handle it. And I appreciate what she said.
Yeah, she was great.
But her players clearly don't. And again, it's this whole thing in athletics where it's like, hey, some of your best players are some of your weirdest people. We've seen it time and time again on the men's and the women's side. And so it just is this situation where we don't like to say, hey, you know what? I don't appreciate the way that Angel Reese acted last year, and I certainly don't appreciate it this year. And you're far less likable when you're going to talk all that junk.
Oh man,
dude.
Isn't that the truth?
Like you damn well better win that next game, because if you don't, you got it coming to you. And that's why I don't really have any type of issue saying, hey, like, you are classless. You do not know how to do this game off the court. You don't know like how to handle public relations, if you will.
But is it as simple as she needs to learn gratitude and humility? I don't
something
think
up that alley.
But it's more than that.
Yeah, like whether it's being humble or like understanding that just because you can get 20 rebounds a game doesn't mean your team is going to win. And I have this problem too. She is not like the best player we've ever seen. She's very good. She is a force down low. She is someone that can be a problem for any average ass team. But you know why she had nothing to say about this series? Because everything that decided this game, if you will, happened outside of the arc. Nothing that happened in the paint decided this game.
9 3-pointers from Caitlin Clark.
If she hadn't made those threes, they don't win the game.
Look at all those great assists. Look at the ball handling. She made her free throws. Angel Reese does not shoot free throws well. She does not shoot threes. Angel Reese is not the best player in college basketball. That's Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese can't handle that. Angel Reese will not be able to, in my opinion, ever say, yeah, Caitlin Clark's a better player than I am. And she sort of gave her kudos last night, but then immediately went to death threats and I'm unhappy and I've been unhappy since we won. I don't know where that goes. And is Kim Mulkey part of the problem here? Potentially. She as these articles came out this week in the LA Times and what was it? I guess I can't remember who wrote the Washington Post. Somebody wrote that huge article on her, but here nor there, my point is you have a very hard to handle head coach, and any true superstar in any sport is going to be high maintenance. Any top performer in any genre is going to be high maintenance, right?
But is she a top performer? This is my problem. I feel like we're mischaracterizing Angel Reese. Yes, she's very good. I'm not sure she's in the group of best players in college basketball.
She's not Caitlin Clark or Paige Beckers. She's just not.
Like,
but she is top 10 players in college basketball right now.
Yeah.
She'll be a high round pick in the WNBA draft.
Certainly.
There's no question about that. Ice Cube didn't offer her $5 million. No, he offered Caitlin Clark $5 million. And a lot of people forget about this. Last night should have been about Caitlin Clark, and largely it was. But last night was also about the victimhood of Angel Reese. And I think one of the things that we have to remember is Angel Reese, again, she's a young gal. I totally get that. But we have to teach our kids how to win and how to lose. And I am probably nobody to talk. I am a terrible loser. I am so ultra competitive. But I think you also have to be able to say, hey, wow, that's a great shot. Hey, wow, that was a great game, Angel. Hey, that was a great game, Caitlin. Look at Kim Mulkey stopping and hugging Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark said after the game that Kim Mulkey told her, hey, I've never seen anybody like you. That's exactly what you should have said.
Yeah.
But Angel Reese, after chasing Caitlin Clark around that floor last year and doing all those antics, is not in a position to stop and say, hey, I've never seen anybody like you. You're a tremendous player. It was an honor to be on the floor with you. Which is probably what you should have said, something like that.
But I think that your point about not teaching kids how to, I would just say we don't teach kids how to compete in the right way. Like, it's like if you're winning, like, cool, man. You want to talk? Great. I'm a big believer you shouldn't be talking when you're behind. And you definitely shouldn't be talking when you're not the player on your team that decides victory or not against this particular matchup, right? And that's my biggest problem is that, and we see this in the league all the time. We see this in the NBA all the time, right? Guys want to talk junk and, it's the age-old Bron, Michael, Kobe stories where, these guys are having a bad night and you talk junk to them and all of a sudden they chop down a 20-point lead. Like, you shouldn't be talking, bro. What you should be doing is winning the game, then talking. You should go out and win and perform, then talk.
You have to teach people how to win and how to lose today because there's so much money being thrown around, right? Like, you think about what I think there was a graphic from Front Office Sports. The average WNBA salary is $270,000. Let that sink in. So you're a woman who wants to play basketball. You achieve at the level that Caitlin Clark has achieved at. You're not going to be paid like the elites of the NBA. If you want to make that money, you probably have to go to prison in Russia, right? Like, that's what we've seen women. And I've been around a ton of elite basketball players in the female game. They all go to Europe. They all go to different continents. In the off season, like right now, they're the best players in the world that are female are playing in Europe and other continents. And they have to do that because they're only making a small percentage of what men make, and I understand that the WNBA doesn't make money. It doesn't bring the viewership that the NBA brings, but we're seeing that on the rise. Ice Cube offered Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in the Big Three. $5 million. That's more money than she will probably make in career earnings in the WNBA in base salary. Like, it's crazy to me, the pull that this gal has. Yet Angel Reese again steals the spotlight. And that's going to go away because after today, nobody's going to talk about Angel Reese. Nobody. It is going to be a long, long road for her to remain relevant.
And I honestly, for me, I didn't even feel like Angel last night in the post game took the spotlight. I think what Angel did instead was go on this whole thing about being a victim, and people are like, dude, like, why is that what you chose to talk about? Like, do you have it's amazing to me that some folks just have no idea that you can just simply say, hey, like, yeah, man, like, they were better tonight. Like, I don't even need her to say that Caitlin Clark's a better player than her. All I need you to say is, yeah, they were better tonight. Like,
Caitlin Clark put up a historic performance last night.
Like, hey, like, she shot the lights out. She deserves a ton of credit for that.
Multiple 40-point games.
Yeah.
9 3-pointers tying the all-time record. And it's what Kobe always said. It's what Jordan always said. It's what Caitlin Clark's dad, I think, talked about. I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm not going to talk about somebody else. I'm going to talk about my team. And what does Caitlin Clark talk about? What did she say last night? She talked about herself a little bit. She talked about the fact that she feels, and she's been talking about this leading up to this postseason, about how Caitlin Clark has said she feels the weight of the world. And that she essentially said she has imposter syndrome. Like, am I going to be able to do it again? Am I going to be able to perform at this high level so I don't disappoint my teammates, so I don't disappoint the fan base? Like, that's what you should be talking about. Not waving your hand in front of your face and pointing your ring finger and that you got death threats and that you've been sexualized. And talk about your teammates. Talk about, hey, if you want to talk about all this other stuff, okay, save that for down the road. Talk about the game last night. Talk about, hey, Angel Reese should have been talking about her teammates as they sat up there and talked about her. She should never have said anything other than Caitlin Clark she's a really good player. That was an amazing performance. And move on. Man, tough way to end my career. You want to sit up there and cry about your career coming to an end? I'm all good with that.
Yeah.
I don't care what your gender is, what your race is. If you want your career in college just came to an end, you know how tough that is? Your college basketball career came to an end. And the truth is, for people like Angel Reese and 99.9% of college basketball players, men and women, your basketball career came to an end. That's the peak right there. We will probably never see Angel Reese dominate as she did at LSU in the WNBA because it's a completely different level. It is, and in the NBA, I think we all know this. It's Steph Curry, man. Who dominates in the NBA or in the WNBA? Do the bigs dominate? They don't. The Stewarts of the world dominate.
Yeah.
Like you look at the way the game is played, the Angel Reeses of the world don't dominate. They fill up score sheets. They don't dominate. Yeah. Angel Reese cannot be the best player on her team if that team wants to win championship.
Totally agree.
It's the truth of the matter.
And for that reason alone, again, I'm going to keep saying you shouldn't be talking. Now, if you're and I've said this about the league for a long time, dude. If you're a 6'6" wing that decides your team's fate, okay, great, talk. Be that guy, right? That's cool. But if you're a role player of sorts, like if you're not the number one on your team, if you're doing a job and you're in the starting five and your job is to rebound and outlet, you shouldn't be talking. It's why I always said, hey, Rudy Gobert, stop talking to the officials, dude. Stop running your mouth, man. Nobody wants to hear it. You're not that guy. You're just not. Draymond, you're not that guy, dude. You're not. You're not anymore. Stop talking. Dylan Brooks, not that guy. Right? Now, you want to look at Bron, you want to look at Luka. Like, Luka's a great example.
I want to look at Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic, great example. Jokic doesn't talk all that much, right? He just beats you.
And wins MVPs.
Yeah, and championships. So now you know what it is. Like Luka's biggest problem is he hasn't won a title. He still talks, but at least he's the reason his team wins or loses on most nights. So I can at least, like, on some level, respect that.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting the way the game is played. It dictates who actually has access to the top of the table, right? Like you look at Luka. Luka's a guy that should be an MVP. Luka's a guy that should be a champion. But is Luka that dissimilar to Angel Reese in demeanor? He's not. He talks a lot. He whines. He complains. He bitches. He moans.
Mm-hmm.
It's never good enough. Last week when he was pointing, he drove to the basket and got fouled and said, "Holy F, I finally got a whistle." That's exactly my point. Yet you have a guy in Nikola Jokic who is, by all accounts, arguably the best player in the league, is a big, but doesn't score at the rim. How does he score? He plays in the pick and roll, he shoots threes, and he assists his teammates. That's today's game. To your point, why is Draymond Green irrelevant? Doesn't shoot the three, doesn't score, and he has a terrible attitude.
Yep.
And if Angel Reese can learn one thing, be Draymond early in your career. Because this late career Draymond is fading fast.
Yes.
Is fading fast.
Yeah.
And I just think it's an interesting ecosystem in college basketball
It's
right
the
now.
age-old discussion that we all know from the playground, dude. There's the kid who isn't good enough, so they talk, and then there's the kid who beats you every time who doesn't talk, and that's exactly what this is.
Isn't it crazy how sportsmanship has gone out the window?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
And we start this now in Little League. Like, it's funny. We were watching a video of the legendary Big Al. I'm Big Al, and I hit dingers.
Yes.
Well, he's not so big anymore, and he hit a home run like he never hits home runs. He's a college baseball player now.
Yeah.
And the kid got served a huge dish of humble pie because he's not big anymore. And he doesn't hit home runs. And so they did this feature on him because he hit a home run.
Yeah.
The funniest part of all this is if we would teach our kids better at the intermediate level in Little League and Pop Warner, in AAU, if we wouldn't be teaching them, hey, let's have incredible handles that knock kids over and stand there and stare at them and then shoot your three. Right? Like that's what we're teaching kids. And I just think it is what it is. All right, let's get to you in the comment section. As always, brought to you by our good friends at Prize Picks, prizepicks.com, where pimps go to pimp. How'd you do in Prize Picks last night?
I won 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And
you're terrible.
I might add it's quite interesting who I had on Prize Picks last night. Let's see, pull it up here. Oh, I had some player.
Which is different than pulling it out.
Yeah, I had some player named Angel Reese for 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
That came through.
Who knew?
37.
She hit that, right? She had 41 actually on points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, assists. Yep.
Paige Buchers.
Beckers.
No, it's Buchers.
It's Beckers.
Okay, Beckers.
Paige Beckers.
How do you get Beckers out of BUE?
Don't ask.
How?
Anyway, go ahead.
28 on 26.5. That's a win.
Who let you down?
Caitlin Clark. Scored too much. Took her for under 32.5.
See, my guy doesn't listen to me, right? I tell him, you don't bet against superstars in big moments.
Well,
ever, right?
There you go.
Which is why I went all baseball yesterday. My Ennui, the beloved, the greatest shitty organization you have ever seen.
Just a stalwartness.
The Chicago Cubs. And I knew yesterday in the home opener, since the Ricketts family owns the Cubs, let's bet on mediocrity, right? Because under the Ricketts family, my God, mediocrity reigns. That's why
sucks.
Yeah, that's why I took Christopher Morel to have 2 hits, runs, and RBIs. Came through with 3. Go Cubs. Cubs
Nice.
win. Ronald Acuna Jr., 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I took more. He had 4. Then there's Mookie. And, if we're going to mook, we're going to Mookie.
Right.
Right? So if you mooks want a Mookie, I suggest you do. I had him at 3 hits, runs, and RBIs. He came through at 5.
Okay.
Pimp's going pimp, man.
Pimp's going to pimp, man.
And I was very thankful that the gambler knocked him in. The gambler drove him in last night to get that.
The gambler.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
The gambler.
Always bet on black.
First team all interpreter, please.
First team all macaque. Shohei
Cack.
Roulette. I don't Full House. I don't know what you call him.
The cock.
Yeah, there you go. The cock. Caulk. She's saying caulk.
Right.
The cock.
Yeah, caulk.
The cock.
Caulk. Mookie came through, won myself $70 last night.
Yeah.
I'll be spending that down at Copper Rock by myself in St. George this weekend
I
because
don't
certain
regret
people,
those decisions.
don't have their own caulk. So it's fine. One on Prize Picks. Use the promo code Monty, Monty, Monty. It's going to 100% deposit matching. You put in $20, they'll make it 40. All the way up to $100. You put in 100, they'll give you another 100. You've got 200. Trust me when I say I've been playing with I was actually, though, I was down quite a bit. I was down to, I can't remember what it was. I was down to my last pittance.
Yeah.
Came through with that $100 bet the other night.
Hundo.
Cash.
Benji.
We're back up to $400.
Yeah.
And that's how it works at Prize Picks. You can be at the lowest of, you can be Angel Reese last night.
And it sucks.
And I do sexualize Prize Picks. I
just try to stand strong.
Right. With Devin Booker last night, I sexualized Prize Picks.
Let's ride.
I did not have Devin Booker. Should probably move on.